And
Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
Something else.
something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matano, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
welcome to episode number 249 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from November 24th, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Joe Doering to my Eric Young. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
Oh man, made me sad. We want to send our best to Joe Doering.
Yes. He got some bad news medically speaking. I'm not on that page, so I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I think they said it was the third brain tumor.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw. He's on his third brain tumor. They did launch a GoFundMe, or his sister-in-law launched a GoFundMe. And he's gone radiation and has had his first round of chemotherapy. So I mean
rough.
that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And sending loads of love to Joe Doering. Best wishes. Hope everything works out here. And I guess this has been an on and off situation for him for like 10 years.
Yeah. He went out a long time for it and came back and had the TNA run, and then he's been out for a while with the second one, and now he's got the third one.
And I mean, I know we always joke about making about TNA not really existing and whatnot, but yeah, it's from what I've heard, they've been good people about trying to take care of him and paying him on his contract, even though he can't work at the moment. And yeah, I mean, go through his donation list, and he's got a lot of kind of out there donations. You got some like Deanna Purrazzo, Lance Hoyt, John Schuyler, a lot of anonymouses too. But yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're listening to the sound of my voice, and if you can contribute, I'm sure he and his family would greatly appreciate it. You know.
Yeah.
So
best wishes, Joe.
So I wanted to we're just going to keep bringing this show down before we bring it up here. I also wanted to share some best wishes to the family of Ryan Damon, who passed away recently. He was a wrestling fan, lived here in Massachusetts. Him and I literally just hung out last month. We went to a wrestling show nearby, and honestly, it's one of those things where it's like you're talking to somebody, but you don't talk all the time to somebody. And so it's like I found out like a week after he passed away. Apparently, he was in a car crash. And actually, I don't even think it was a week ago. It may have been last Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. It was a hit and run. And it's really really fucked up. And, especially when it's somebody that you know and it's somebody that you're kind of close to. The last time we talked was I was asking if he was going to Dynamite a few weeks ago in Boston, and he said he wasn't able to make it, and that's the last time we talked. And it's pretty fucked up, you know. And so
Yeah,
best wishes to his family, and yeah.
it's a damn shame.
Um, so there's no real good way to go from that to the show. Um, I we might as well get into the schedule. So we talked about the holiday schedule. It's going to be a little wacky over the next few weeks, and we are going to catch up. We're no longer going to be 41 years and 1 week behind. We're just going to be a nice even 41 years. Next week. And this is because World Class is about to do both their Thanksgiving Star Wars show that we'll get to on this show, along with, they're doing a year in review 1 week. And so what we're going to do next week, we're going to do the December 1st Mid-South, along with the Thanksgiving Star Wars show, which thanks to our longtime proven Buck Zumhoff rule, the show's only an hour and 18 minutes. So I mean, it's a little longer than, the average show, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be unbearable. Famous last words. Um, and then on December 16th, we're going to catch up and do the December 8th and 15th Mid-South, and then go from there. Now, Smoky Mountain, I know we talked about this. The damn Night of the Legends is throwing us off a little bit here. But we'll figure that out because honestly, like we're scheduled, if we keep the schedule, like Night of the Legends would be around Christmas when we would get to that. So that might be a Christmas gift from us to the masses. Trey and I watching a 4-hour show, minus like the matches that air on the actual Smoky Mountain show that week. But we'll figure out how the hell we're gonna do that. It's also like it's 4 hours, but like think I told you this. Like an hour of it is the Knoxville Hall of Fame segment, and I'm still planning on watching that, but it's still like okay, we you know that's not something we're going to be breaking down probably for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the schedule you sent me. Are we not doing Christmas Star Wars? Are we not going to do that in one?
I guess that's something to discuss when we get that far, depending on what's on the world class shows themselves. That I was more like the way I was looking at this was like kind of a way to get back on the right timetable. And also and that year in review show is going to help us out with that. So we'll see what world class airs and go from there.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's dive into Mid-South this week. But I'm gonna say both shows are very similar in the way they end the shows. And one is Mid-South's fault. The other, I'm gonna blame the WWE Network for the other one. But let's start with Mid-South. Go to the intro here with Boyd Pierce and this week's guest host, the president of Mid-South Wrestling, Cowboy Bill Watts.
South Wrestling Television Network, the exciting professional wrestling. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, and a lot of exciting action because Hacksaw Duggan is here this week. And tag team action sees Master G team up with Brickhouse Brown as they take on the original Alamo Busters from Mexico, Chavo and Hector Guerrero. Dr. Death Steve Williams is on the card. Another tag team match will be the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Rock and Roll Express, against the rugged duo of Ted DiBiase and Sheik Hercules Hernandez. Hacksaw Butch Reed takes on Nature Boy Buddy Landell. Terry Taylor returns. A lot of great action coming up. Our guest commentator, the president of Mid-South Sports, Bill Watts.
Well, thank you, Boyd. It seems like it's awful easy sometimes to make matches because a lot of guys challenge each other. But Grizzly Smith's job is not easy making matches. However, we still want you all to continue to join us in your suggestions for the dream match. Now, let's take this information right now just to how you can participate in our dream match.
All right, doesn't this sound like a big show? Like we've had a lot of big matches these last few weeks, And I got to tell you, though, and I'll ask you if you heard the same thing I did and had to go back and rewind. I could swear Boyd called Chavo and Hector the original animal busters from Mexico. And I had to go back and re-listen to that. He said Alamo, the original Alamo busters from Mexico.
Well, don't worry because Boyd does fuck up naming the Guerreros later.
Indeed he does. Maybe I shouldn't feel too bad then. But we're going to get the Rock and Roll Express versus DiBiase and Sheik Hercules Hernandez, which is a big match. We're going to get Butch Reed versus Buddy Landell, which is a big match. We're going to have, we already said the Master G and Brickhouse Brown versus Chavo and Hector Guerrero, which is a big match. But you might notice there's something missing from the card. You might remember at the end of last week, Magnum TA came out here and said that he wanted a cage match, which was either Ernie Ladd for his North American title or Ted DiBiase. And while we were not promised anything, it was certainly strongly implied that it would happen on this week's show. Well, let's go to Bill Watts and Boyd Pierce after the Dream Match video, and that's exactly what they're going to discuss.
You'll take an opportunity to respond to this Dream Match offer and send us what you would like to see here on Mid-South Wrestling. Last week, Magnum TA challenged Ernie Ladd to a cage match. He challenged DiBiase to a cage match. Ernie Ladd refused to wrestle Magnum TA here on television in a cage match. He said he'd wrestle him in an arena, but not on TV, that it might be too violent. I don't think Ernie Ladd wants it. Last week, Dr. Death was to meet Hacksaw Duggan in a football helmet match, but there were some strange happenings. Let's join that last week.
God damn it, Ernie Ladd. It's too violent to be on television.
Damn it.
I'll be honest, if I was a fan and I was like, okay, I don't watch every week because, sometimes the time slot kind of sucks. But, I heard there's going to be a cage match this week. So Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock, it's November. So, I mean, there's probably only so much you're going to be doing on a Saturday afternoon in November. But I could be watching college football that day. I could be out playing with my friends in still Louisiana and Texas and all those places. But no, I'm going to be home in front of my television to watch Mid-South Wrestling because there's going to be a cage match. And we've never seen a cage match on TV before. So I get home, I plot down for the television, I turn on the TV, and we get told there's no cage match because Ernie Ladd thinks it's too violent. Did Ted DiBiase think it was too violent too?
DiBiase had already signed a contract to wrestle the Rock and Roll Express this week. I assume.
I guess. I guess. And now that I look at it, that's the only audio from the show that I'm playing. So we got a lot of talking to do on this week's show about no talking.
There wasn't a lot of talking this week, was there?
No, the only other thing would have been the Rock and Roll Express thing, but I think there was real music in the background, so I can't play that.
Yeah, if you had the Rock and Roll Express thing, it was the real music because I think they just straight cut it out of the network.
Yeah. I have the Mid-South torrents that have the the actual
restored
shit in there. Yes.
That's the way to do it.
Yep. So they show us the replay of last week's DiBiase Duggan situation, where Duggan was going to have his football helmet match, but Ted DiBiase is like, hey, I'm a wrestler. You're a wrestler. Let's have a wrestling match. And then, through no fault of Ted DiBiase, because, I'm sure this was not planned by him, out came Dr. Death in his football uniform and beat up Jim Duggan. Now, while it wasn't planned, I'm sure, by a fine, upstanding Christian athlete like Ted DiBiase, he was certainly not going to stop Dr. Death from beating up his rival.
Why would you?
Yeah. And so that leads us to our opening match, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Dale Burnett. Duggan wants to wrestle Ted DiBiase and not Dale Burnett, but he has to wrestle who he has to wrestle, and he wins with the spear.
Yeah, that was. Hey, Burnett did kick out of the Old Glory knee drop, but he was no match for the tackle. I feel like that should be the other way around.
He was no match for the Old Glory tackle. God, do you remember that episode of Thunder where Kevin Nash put himself on commentary and called everything the Old Glory, whatever, all night?
I don't. When was that?
This was the last Thunder before Russo took over. Okay. Yeah, like Rey Mysterio doing the Old Glory Hurricane Rana.
That's funny.
Yes. So we go to, as I'm about to die over here, we go to the next match, which is Chavo and Hector Guerrero versus Master G and Brickhouse Brown. And Boyd, I know I said Chavo was on this show before, and I'm pretty sure Hector was on this show before. But like Boyd felt that he had to tell us how to tell which Guerrero was which. And all I could think was, well, at least he's not telling us which black guy was which.
He did let us know that it's the Guerrero brothers, Chavo and Guerrero.
Now, just when I thought me saying at least they didn't tell us which black guy was which was going to be the most racist utterance on this show, Bill then told us that the Guerreros aren't what you think of when you think of Mexicans because they aren't farmers or laborers.
Yeah, they have money and nice things, so they're not typical Mexicans.
Oh, Lord. Bill Watts would be so canceled in 2025. And I don't think he would care, to be perfectly honest.
I'm sorry. I got up to open the door for Astro Peach, and then he's a cat, so he just like sat there for a minute.
I was talking about how Bill Watts would get canceled this day and age.
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, I have said my piece about my my analysis of Bill Watts's racial views.
So G used the head scissors to Hector to take him out of the ring, and Bill said he didn't know what to call that. Like, it's simple. It was a head scissors. A head scissors takeover, if you will.
A Tijeras,
Brickhouse,
if you will.
What was that?
A Tijeras.
Yes. Brickhouse gave Hector an airplane spin, and Chavo ran in and hit Brickhouse in the tummy with the bandolier for the pin.
I liked the match, but that finish was kind of stupid.
Weirdly, not the most random finish on any of the shows I've watched this week. Abyss beats Raven tomorrow on TNA with a spear.
That's random.
Yes. And the funny part was they kept fighting after the match, and Abyss gave Punk and Julio a black hole slam. So it's not like, well, he hasn't introduced the black hole slam or anything. He has. It's just he used a spear to win the match.
He was saving it.
There you go. You don't want to hit too many black hole slams in one match. Or maybe Raven didn't want to take it. I don't know. If we ever have Raven on the show, we'll have to ask him, hey, do you remember when you wrestled Abyss and he beat you with a spear? Why?
Those are the black holes. The two people who did that move the best, indisputably, are Abyss and the Big Boss Man.
Definitely. I was gonna say like who else has used it? I'm sure many people have, but it's like that is a hell of a move when those two gentlemen do it.
Yes.
So I thought that this was the end of Master G, but he's here for another week, and Brickhouse is here for I think a little while. So this is not quite the blow off for either man that I thought it might have been.
They made Brickhouse look like such a geek last week that I thought he was gone.
No, I know I looked. I didn't write down when he leaves, but he's here for at least a little bit.
Wow.
I guess Butch Reed needs a black friend. That's my only assumption, having not actually bothered to see what he does. So then we get Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Lee Ramsey. Doc won with the Oklahoma Stampede. Duggan ran in wearing his football uniform and challenged Doc to get down in a 3-point stance, but Doc left. And I mean, that makes sense because at the end of the day, Duggan is in full football gear and Doc isn't. So, I mean, what the hell? And Doc did not have time to put his football gear on.
Doc really doesn't want to have that football helmet match that he keeps challenging Duggan to.
No. I'm like half convinced we're never going to get that match.
Yeah, this is a rib. It's starting to feel like a rib.
This is as much of a rib as the popular little midget girl wrestlers were at that time.
Or fucking Mil Mascaras is coming.
There you go. Mil Mascaras was waiting to come because he wanted to make sure that the rules would not be fairly enforced with him there.
I thought you were going to say that Mil Mascaras was waiting for the little midget girl wrestlers to come back.
There you go. Maybe he flew in with the little midget girl wrestlers. Oh God. I think I told you this, but on the very first Mid-South that we did, this was December of '81, there was a mixed tag match with a normal-sized male wrestler and a midget girl wrestler on each team, and Reeser introduced it as, "It's now time for the big men and the little girls."
Oh, Reeser.
I
miss Reeser.
Me too. Like I know that they have now 2 ring announcers, so you don't need to wear the too thin, but they need to find a way to bring Reeser back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should just bring Reeser back and have them alternate with Boyd Pierce as ring announcer and have Jim Ross on commentary always.
Or have Boyd Pierce do commentary 1 week with JR and JR do 1 week with Bill Watts.
There you go.
Kick Joel out.
Let Joel make music videos.
He's very good at making music videos.
He sure is. His father is very proud of him.
Do you think he ever mentioned being proud of Joel ever before on television or ever again?
Do you think he ever mentioned being proud of Erik?
No. I'm going to push my boy to the moon, but I am not proud of him. Oh my God. So this is one of those times where you can only take people's opinions so much. So I get AEW is not everyone's cup of tea, but I think most people can agree that Kyle Fletcher is near top tier of AEW talent. I think that's a safe assumption we can all make. So somebody on the social media this week, during Dynamite this week, said they turned on Dynamite but saw this Erik Watts in Techno Team 2000 geek come out, and they turned the show off. Now, I turned the show on late because I don't remember what I was doing last Wednesday, but it wasn't watching Dynamite at 8 o'clock. And when I turned it on, and I'm waiting for the Erik Watts in Techno Team 2000 geek, Kyle Fletcher came out first, and I'm like, okay, well, where's the Erik Watts geek? I'm like, he's not talking about Don Callis, but he's talking about fucking Kyle Fletcher, because Kyle Fletcher has that silver jacket he wears, and that apparently makes him Erik Watts in Techno Team 2000.
Well, you've got a fucking moron who just thinks that everything is gimmick and appearance. You get stupid fucking takes like that.
I tried afterwards. I even said to him, like, next time, fast forward 2 minutes and watch Kyle Fletcher wrestle. He's pretty damn good.
Don't engage those people.
I try, especially because, up until this point, this person did not offend me with their wrestling takes. So I'm like, you turned the show off before the guy who can wrestle wrestled because you didn't like his jacket.
Look, arguing
Like,
with people like that is it's like playing chess with a pigeon. Eventually, they're just going to knock all over the pieces, knock over all the pieces and shit on the board.
oh Lord. So then we got a segment. Um, this was a segment. We went to KFLY Channel 10 in Lafayette, Louisiana, because they asked for the Rock and Roll Express to come spend some time with Mario White, who was a child with leukemia. And we've seen similar things before, like the Junkyard Dog went to the hospital one time to meet some kids, and it's a babyface thing to do. You have a news feature of your babyface meeting kids who are sick. And so we go to this news report, and they show this white kid standing by a tree. I'm like, oh, that's Mario White. That was not Mario White.
No, it wasn't.
A black kid then walked up, and they started playing with the tree. And turns out the black kid was Mario White. And the way this news was like, I'm like, did he get it from the white kid? Did he get it from the tree? What the hell was the point of that?
I don't think you can catch leukemia from a tree
I don't think so either.
or a white kid.
Um, so according to the newscast, Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson agreed to come visit Mario. Ricky Martin, who is remarkably similar to Ricky Morton, by the way, he was randomly wearing a neck brace.
Yeah, I assume we don't know when this was. This was probably like weeks old. I'm sure he was selling something.
I don't remember him ever on television with a neck brace, except here, thanks to KFLY Channel 10 in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I don't know.
but yes, so the Rock and Roll Express went and met a child with leukemia. And I wrote, here's hoping to find out why Ricky Martin is wearing a neck brace. We do
Ricky
not
Martin.
find out. That's what the news guy said.
I know.
He was not living La Vida Loca.
Not to be confused with former pro wrestling Noah junior heavyweight standout Ricky Marvin.
He's not into superstition, black cats, or voodoo dolls.
Is that Ricky Martin lyrics?
That's from Living La Vida Loca.
Okay, yeah, I only know the push and pull you down, living la vida
loca. Her lips will tear you down, living la vida loca. Her lips are devil red, and I'll stop singing right now. So we then go back to the ring for our next match, which is the tag team champions, allegedly, the Rock and Roll Express versus Ted DiBiase and Sheik Hercules Hernandez with Mr. Mid-South in their corner. I wrote Morton is not wearing a neck brace, so it is possible that he's different from that Ricky Martin guy who met Mario White. Shock of shocks. They got the heat on Ricky Morton here, and then Robert Gibson got the hot tag. We had a horribly mistimed finish as Mr. Mid-South hopped up on the apron and yanked down the top rope, and then approximately 3 minutes later, Gibson ran in that direction and tumbled out of the ring for the disqualification. It's possible that he had no plans on tumbling out of the ring, but then when he saw Mr. Mid-South doing that, he's like, well, I know an easy way to win this match, and went running at the ropes to tumble out of it.
I don't want to shock anyone, but Ricky Morton wrestled Ted DiBiase, and it was good.
Holy shit on a shingle.
Right.
Then Mr. Mid-South gets in the ring, and I had to rewatch this because I didn't even see it until they screamed it. He threw fire at Ricky Morton. And the announcers, the crowd, Mr. Mid-South, Ted DiBiase, and Hercules all seem to be more put off by this than Ricky Morton was, because Ricky Morton pretty much got right back up and had to get beaten down again.
Yeah.
The face side of the locker room ran in for the save.
Yeah, Terry Taylor, Butch Reed, and Magnum TA, babyface save squad this week.
Yep, and it was the guys. It wasn't the job crew at first. So maybe they heard our show last week and they're like, you know what? They have a point. Why do we always send the job guys out to make the save first?
You think they play our show on the temporal ham radio in the babyface locker room?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure that they listened to last week's show before this week's taping and are like, hey, they have a point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And it's not just the one on top of our heads.
You ever see Coneheads?
So did you say that I see Coneheads?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that movie.
That was good stuff.
It was. It's the first time I ever heard about Brockton, Massachusetts.
Oh.
That's where Beldar Conehead's illegal alien name was from. Donald R.D. Chico from Brockton, Massachusetts.
There you go.
Yes. Adam Sandler sold him a fake ID.
I have not seen this movie in too long. I don't know. I remember the gist, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
You can actually see it for free on YouTube. I just watched it a few weeks ago.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. This is apparently movie week on the show because at the end of tomorrow's show, spoiler alert, Sydney and I start talking about Little Big League, which and Rookie of the Year. Both movies are also on YouTube. So I know you're not a fake sports fan, but let me ask you now: did you ever see the movie Rookie of the Year? It's about a child who breaks his arm, and his arm is somehow now able to throw really fast baseballs, and he gets signed by the Chicago Cubs to play Major League Baseball.
I've either seen it or seen like a breakdown of it.
Okay, so let me ask you now. Again, I know you're big on the intricacies of baseball and everything, but so the end of the movie, the main character, Henry Rowengartner, his arm returns to normal, and then after winning the World Series with the Chicago Cubs, he is allowed, because he's 12 years old, he's allowed to go back and play Little League. I personally feel that's incredibly unfair that a Major League Baseball player, regardless of age, is allowed to go play Little League afterwards.
I agree with you. You know, you don't know a good sports movie, Little Giants.
That was really good. Yes. The 90s had a lot of great sports movies.
They did. You know? 90s had a lot of great
Rookie
movies,
of the Year.
Period.
Oh, yeah. And because it was our childhood, so it was much better than it is nowadays.
Yeah. Everything was better. I didn't have fucking electric bills or anything.
Even though I will say Zootopia 2 is better than you'll see a lot of people say it is. It's not as good as Zootopia 1, but it's still a good movie.
There you
go. Little Giants and Little Rascals came out at the same time. I remember having them both on VHS.
Yeah, I think I had them both on VHS too. Yeah, my parents grew up in the 50s, so they like knew the original Little Rascals, so even they liked it.
Nice. Buddy Landell with Mr. Mid-South versus Butch Reed. Now, do you think Mr. Mid-South actually went backstage and up those steps to the locker room before turning around and coming right back out? Or did he just stay off to the side?
He probably had to go find Buddy.
He might have been doing an 8-ball or something. Now, they said earlier in the show this was a packed house, and I thought this match really showed that off, as when Landell and Mr. Mid-South were conferring outside the ring, you could see people seated far past the edge of the guardrail on the side to the left of the hard camera. And it made me think, like, once upon a time, like, they were lucky to have the first row on that side full of people.
Yeah.
And then Doc ran in his full gear, and he ran Butch Reed over in his Revolution way. And I know there are pads involved, obviously, but Duggan and Doc both look gigantic in their football gear.
Yeah, it adds a lot of bulk. I almost said girth, and I was like, that was why I paused. It was like girth. No, that's not the right word.
No, girth would imply that they got fat off of it. So outran Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who is hilarious. I would have loved to have like a video camera on the dressing room wall to film this because it's one big dressing room with two doors, so the marks don't know any better. But so in the same room, they have like what 5, maybe 10 minutes where Duggan is quickly getting undressed from his football gear, while Steve Williams is quickly getting dressed into his, so they could run out for the finish here.
Yeah, and then
yeah. Duggan, by the way, did not have his football gear, but did have his 2x4, which I am assuming is now going to be his second $10,000 fine of the past few weeks.
Watts is such a hypocrite.
Mama Cornette has such a lawsuit against this territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All right. So we then see a music video for Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, a stooge, and a D-Gens. And I can't figure out if we saw this one before, but just like really similar, because I do think they had some new clips in there, but we've seen a very similar music video before.
It was the photo shoot video to freeze frame. But yeah,
but
I stopped paying attention when I realized what it was. There probably were new. I believe you. I believe you that there were new clips.
Yeah. They showed him kissing Miss Linda, and I don't think that was in the original one because I think this was that was well before Adrian Street got here.
He is a D-Gen.
Yes, he is. And we then go to the ring where Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, a stooge, and a D-Gens, takes on Dale VC. Now, I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. There's 5 minutes left to go in this show. And they announced that we still have Magnum TA coming in. They then announced that in 2 weeks, we will definitely have Private Terry Daniels, but we only hope to have Brad Armstrong on the show. It really tells you our priorities here.
And I bet Private Terry Daniels won't be one that they keep putting off. I bet his ass will be here.
The funny thing is, Private Terry Daniels is a WWF guy to this point. So the WWF took the Junkyard Dog, and we get fucking Private Terry Daniels.
Yeah, not the bitter end of that trade.
And he's gonna be here for a while too. Like it might be one of those things where it's like, oh, he's in and out, but like he is in for a while. Like we're gonna be watching this man. Yeah. By the way, Dale VC fucked up running the ropes, so Taylor hitting the 5-arm looked really shitty. So Terry Taylor won with a body slam. And that 5-arm was so shitty that when they showed the replay of it, when they pitched the commercial, they just showed the body slam.
Was VZ just not where he was supposed to be? Like that was like it was very obvious. Like they fucked up.
I think he just ran the ropes poorly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So with the show running out of time, we then go to Magnum TA versus Jack Victory. And Jack Victory, who will one day become Russian Assassin number 2, did not prepare for his future role by cutting a promo calling his opponent Magnum TA, like Nikita did. And apparently, wrestling Jack Victory is the consolation prize you receive when you don't get a cage match on TV. And then, because we can't have nice things on this show. You know, Tim Horner has been off Smoky Mountain Wrestling for like a month now, and we thought we were going to be without Horner. Tim Horner returns on fucking Mid-South next week, because of course he does.
It feels like a personal attack.
Yes. By the way, Terry Daniels is here until July. So I guess it's not as bad as I thought, but still. And I went back too far, and I'm like, wow, he's wrestling Ed Wiskowski on the show next week. No, that was he wrestled Ed Wiskowski in January of 1982. But he will be in a couple weeks.
Well, that's
and it
delightful.
Looks like looking at his matches, he is a babyface.
Terrific.
So that seems promising. So TA won with the belly-to-belly suplex. The 3 was counted. He barely had time to stand up, and we immediately cut to the outro.
Yeah, it was immediate, like fast.
And it's like Magnum TA did not have to worry about the expiration of time limit expiring here. They were going to get that match in.
It takes a good man to beat Jack Victory, but it doesn't take him long.
Apparently not, no. So, I mean, this wasn't the greatest episode of Mid-South ever, but, I thought it was still a decent little episode.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was a show,
I can't wait till 19...
I just kept everything burning.
I can't wait till like 1997 when we finally get that Dr. Death Jim Duggan football helmet match.
Yeah, can't wait.
Let's see here. Well, maybe I just put in the wrong thing. I was like, there's no football helmet match. I see a football pads match, but that's not going to be on TV, and nothing under helmet. So I'm sorry to tell you this, Trey. We may not be getting a football helmet match.
Did they wear their helmets for the pad match?
Possibly, but that's also on a house show. So they have one televised singles match, and that's coming up taped on January 30th, so it's going to air sometime in February, I'm sure.
So, is Duggan here straight through to 87?
Possibly. I mean, that makes sense because I know he's the UWF champion at one point. So let me see here. March of 84, September of 84, 85, Mid-South, Houston, Mid-South, Mid-South. Yep, that's all Mid-South. I keep going. He has a tour in New Japan at the beginning of 86, which I guess shouldn't make me laugh as much as it does, but yeah, he is here until he leaves to go to the WWF.
Sorry, I have to see. I have to check out Jim Duggan's New Japan tour.
So
lots of undercard. Oh wait, that's 81. 81, he had lots of undercard singles matches. 86, he's in like some main events, like in tag matches against Inoki and Fujinami and stuff. Has a singles match with Fujinami. And has a singles match with Inoki.
So here's something that's a little surprising. So like we know about him and the Iron Sheik getting fired from the WWF in June of 87. He doesn't have any other matches until he comes back 3 months later. So it's not like he goes somewhere else. Yeah, apparently not. I mean, he probably knew that, he probably got the heads up. It's like, okay, it's not really on you, but like, if get out of this and don't sign anywhere, and we'll bring you back in. But still, you think he would have done something?
I read his book maybe like a year or so ago, but I don't remember what, if anything, you said about that.
How is his book otherwise?
It's fine. It's okay. It's inoffensive.
It's good. That's what you want to hear about a book. It is inoffensive. Well, speaking of shows that may or may not be inoffensive, let's go to World Class Championship Wrestling and the intro with our good friend Bill Mercer.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling from the world-famed Sportatorium here in downtown Dallas, Texas. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you on hand, and we have the ultimate. We have a main event that features the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair, challenged by Chris Adams, the young man who has lost so much favor here as he attacked Kevin Von Erich. That's our main event. We've got a lot of excitement throughout World Class Championship Wrestling, and we'll be back with the Iceman King Parsons and Kelly Kiniski right after this on World Class Championship Wrestling.
So that's a pretty big fucking main event here. Ric Flair versus Chris Adams for the World's Heavyweight Championship.
Indeed.
Yep. And I don't want to alarm everybody. I know we kind of did earlier with Ricky Morton and Ted DiBiase. Ric Flair and Chris Adams had a good wrestling match on this show.
Yeah, it was fine.
I mean, it wasn't. You picture it being better, but it was certainly not a bad match. I would give it, I would have said it was a 3-star match. I know it's usually Smoky Mountain that gives us a quarterly 3-star match. But World Class gave it to us this week.
It felt like a diet Ric Flair match.
So after commercial, we kick things off in the ring where Iceman King Parsons is taking on Kelly Kiniski, who has Jake Roberts in his corner for some reason.
Yes.
Yes. And then Mercer told us why. Apparently, Jake has taken on the responsibility to tutor Kelly Kiniski. And what I meant to write was, who the fuck did Kelly Kiniski piss off? But what I wrote was, who the fuck did Jake piss off? It does seem to work both ways.
I don't know. Kelly Kiniski needs some advice of some kind. I wouldn't take life advice from Jake Roberts. Wrestling advice, maybe, but no, don't take any lifestyle tips from Jake.
No. So during this match, Bill Mercer decided to channel his inner Bill Watts and begin just randomly name-dropping random people he knows. He talked about how Joel Smith out in the LA area is a big fan of World Class.
Well, that's good for him.
Yeah. I popped because Iceman used the sunset flip for a 0 count. You heard me right. Kelly Kiniski made Bronco Lubick drop to his knees and didn't even stay down for even a 1 count. If I was Kelly Kiniski, or if I was Bronco Lubick after this match, I'd be having a word with young Kelly Kiniski here. Jake kidney punched Iceman, and while he got admonished, Kiniski hoisted Iceman over the top rope. Iceman got right back in the ring and rolled up Kelly for the pin. After the match, we got a 2-on-1 on Iceman until referee Ricky Hazard sauntered in. We joked about this last week that Ricky Hazard took his fucking time walking to the ring to make a save. Apparently, that's just Rick Hazard's MO, because he took his fucking time getting to the ring to help Bronco Lubick break up this fight.
If Rick Hazard's brother was a king, Rick Hazard would be a Duke of Hazard.
I was wondering where you were going with that. If Rick Hazard comes out with a woman wearing short shorts, then we'll be like, okay, there's something to this, people. All right. So then we get American Tag Team Champions, the Fantastic, versus El Diablo Grande and Dale VC. Drunk Mark Lawrence called Rogers Fantastic Tommy Rogers, and Fulton just Bobby Fulton. Like, what the hell, DML? What the hell did Bobby Fulton do to piss you off?
I don't know.
I guess he's mad that, Bobby Fulton being in that match, even though he's not the one that got beat, Bobby Fulton being that match led to the Von Erichs losing the 6-man tag team titles, and DML may be taking that personally.
I guess so. I can't think of what else it would be.
Yep. Or maybe he knew that the plan for this match would include Bobby Fulton avoiding wrestling Dale Vesey by doing a baseball slide out of the ring and slapping the hands of the marks.
Indeed.
Do you remember there was an episode of Raw, and I don't remember who he was wrestling, but it would have been 95 after his babyface turn. Shawn Michaels was wrestling somebody, and like in the middle of the match, he just jumped out of the ring, jumped into the front row, and sat down with the fans.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely.
So Mercer, again, talking about anything but the match, because this match went about 37 or 38 minutes here. Mercer starts talking about how Jake Roberts taught the DDT to Nicola and called it the devilish, destructive trick.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite DDT meaning? I always liked Damien's dinner time.
Oh, I've never even heard that before. Because I'll be honest, I've never even really heard anybody explaining what the DDT stood for.
I do remember one promo, I think, in the WWF, where Jake was like, "What does DDT stand for?" Simple. The end.
There you go. I remember someone asked Brandy Manwich in PWI about it, and she just gave the scientific answers to what DDT stood for. Well, my favorite, well, maybe not my favorite, but one of my favorite Jake Roberts promos in WWF was during a Saturday Night's Main Event. Mean Gene is interviewing him, and he tells Mean Gene, "You're going to have to go back to selling encyclopedias after this." And Gene's like, "I've never sold encyclopedias." And Jake's like, "You couldn't even do that right." It popped me anyway.
I did you not hear me laugh?
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry. I was laughing. The mic didn't pick it up.
God damn it, Trey's mic. By the way, back in the ring, Tommy Rogers pinned Dale Vesey with, and I quote, "a flying body," or as most of us would call it, a top rope splash. I guess that is a flying body, just, not the usual name you would call that.
Well, technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Yes. By the way, so Duggan goes from losing the UWF heavyweight title in a loser leaves town match to the one-man gang to a few weeks later wrestling Sika in the WWF.
Did the fans write in to vote for Sika?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure it was the largest letter writing campaign ever in the WWF.
Yeah.
It's funny because I thought WrestleMania 3 was his debut, but who knows? Because they taped a bunch of stuff before WrestleMania 3. It may not have aired until after, because he's wrestling the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. So I guess that could have aired after WrestleMania. But yeah, I always thought WrestleMania 3 was his debut.
I always had the impression that he had just gotten there, but was known.
Honestly, it was always funny the way that they would pretend that people with long careers never existed, and but people would obviously know who the hell these people are, like Harley Race or Arn and Tully or Jim Duggan. It's like, how do you pretend that these people have never had a career anywhere else?
You have disdain for the intelligence of your audience. That's how you do that.
True that. True that. True that. So let me see here. So yeah, so then we get a match with everyone's least favorite pedophile. I guess who was our least favorite pedophile? Is it Buck Zumoff or Grizzly Smith?
I want to make a contemporary reference here, but I'm not gonna.
Okay. I'm not sure. The ideal world class show would be 60 minutes of Buck Zumhoff and Grizzly Smith, so we just skipped the show that week.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
So when they go to commercial, on the lower third, it said that Sunshine works hard for the money. Because then we get a music video for Sunshine, and of course it's WWE Network, so they're not paying for real music. And so I assumed that was the song they played, was She Works Hard for the Money.
So did I.
So I pressed mute on the television and pulled up the song on my computer and followed along, and it did meet up. But the funny part was the part about you better treat her right was shown when David Von Erich threw her down that one time.
Yeah, what else? What other song could that video have been? Because this was like Sunshine, to my understanding from watching the show every week, is supposed to be a baby face, but
yes.
These were all clips of her as a heel.
Because to be fair, she wasn't here that long as a baby face before she left. I mean, when was her baby face turn? Because they brought in.
It was all just Garvin treating her like a fucking dog.
Well, it was like when they lost the match to David Von Erich where they had to work on the farm, and they were cleaning the dog and all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was to give us sympathy for her because, oh, look what Jimmy Garvin did to her and shit like that.
At least we got some use out of Jimmy Garvin.
Which is funny because Jimmy Garvin is out of the territory, so not even oh, he's coming back or some shit.
Maybe she's gonna blame Gino Hernandez for whatever she was mad at Garvin for, like Stella May did.
She's really mad because she can't get Gino Hernandez's medical records to give to Gino's opponents like she did to poor Jimmy Garvin.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So hard to get good help these days.
Yeah. So we go to our main event, which is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair versus Chris Adams with Gary Hart. And Flair was the default babyface here because even though, Ric Flair is a heel world champion, Chris Adams did turn on a Von Erich. And they did note that if Flair was wrestling a Von Erich, the crowd would not be cheering for him. Now, I tend to think that they probably still would, and that might also be part of the reason why he's wrestling Chris Adams here and not a Von Erich. But, at least they came up with a storyline reason for it. Now, can you imagine, don't ask what made me think about this, if Flair had to wrestle Chris Von Erich?
Oh, God.
I think that's when Flair would finally quit.
Yeah, that's you've got to have some kind of standards.
Yeah. So, like we said earlier, this was not like the greatest match you'll ever see. In some ways, it might even be the most disappointing match you'll ever see because you expect Ric Flair and Chris Adams to have a 4.5-star match here on TV. They did not. They had a 3-star match because that's what's on TV at the time. You didn't have 5-star matches on TV because why the hell would you?
Here's the thing. They paced it like they were going 60 minutes, but they went 13.
Yeah, I was almost right that time. I said they went 12. So
yeah.
We call that a win. So Chris Adams gave Rick Hazard a top rope crossbody. He probably deserved it. Adams had the match won with a roll-up, but Hazard took his time waking up. Ric Flair put on a Boston Crab, of all things, when Gary Hart ran in for the disqualification.
Well, nobody can survive Ric Flair's dreaded half crab.
Well, I don't think it was a half crab. I thought it was a full crab.
It appeared to be a half crab to me.
Okay. I'll let you have that one there. So we had a 2-1 of Flair until David Manning Von Erich made the save, and that's how the show very abruptly went off the air.
I was so I didn't really realize until later when I looked back and I just finished with Flair won by DQ. And I'm like, wait, is that how the show ended? Because World Class always has a little bit at the end, but maybe it was something that the network cut out.
Yeah, that's my theory anyway.
Yeah.
That they cut that out. So that does it for World Class. We didn't get our usual backstage promo in front of the lockers this week. We did get Zoomhoff, which is always a bad trade. But hey, at least it let us fast forward 8 minutes.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh yeah, but I know it's November, but it's like I miss when they used to go out and about and go hunting with the Von Erichs or go to church with Skip Young or whatever. What the hell ever happened to Skip Young and the PYTs, by the way?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought of them in a while.
Yes. I think they're on the Thanksgiving show, but we'll see next week. So we have a big match for the January 5th episode of Raw that was announced this week on the December 1st edition of Raw. CM Punk will defend the World Heavyweight title against Bron Breaker.
Huh.
Yes, apparently Bron Breaker called him a soft-ass bitch.
Well, those are fighting words.
Yes. And apparently he promised to go after every good memory the fans have of Punk. I'm not sure how one does that.
Maybe he's going to do some Steiner math and figure it out.
There you go. People are really obsessed over that whole Bret Hart claiming that Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels had a romance thing.
I wouldn't rule it out.
So, by the way, and I literally had to click on the daily update because one of the headlines of the daily update today on the F4W was about Zootopia 2. And Zootopia 2 opened at $156 million over the 4-day weekend, beating Wicked for Good that did $93 million in its second week of release.
I have a friend who texts me like once in a blue moon. Just like okay. The last time he texted me was January 2023, although he has called me. But he texted me out of the blue on Friday that said in Zootopia 2, CM Punk and Roman Reigns play zebra cops.
Yes, they do.
How about that?
'Twas quite the film. I must tell you that.
Oh yeah, I forget you see every movie because you have like a membership thing.
I do. I still
have you seen Nuremberg?
Good. No, I didn't see Nuremberg.
Kind of interested in that one myself.
By the way, Becky Lynch is doing a boycott of Raw until she's reinstated as Women's Intercontinental Champion. And Dave, being Dave, had to point out that this is a worked boycott of Raw.
Thanks, Dave.
Remember when Brian said something like, imagine if Vince lived to be 130 years old, and Dave's like, well, he's not going to. Like that.
I think Dave has a touch of autism.
I think that's been acknowledged. Oh my God!
I'm not talking shit. I definitely have a touch myself.
Apparently, the New Japan Tag Tournament, I somehow did not notice this. One of the teams in the New Japan Tag Tournament this year, Oleg Boltin and Toru Yano.
Yeah, they were in it last year too.
Okay. Shows you how much I pay attention.
Because there were so many fucking I'm still behind on New Japan. I am so fucking confused by some of the teams in that tournament. And I thought you were going to bring up one of them, and then you bring up that Oleg and Yano, who have been teaming for they were never openweight 6-man champions with Tanahashi, and then they were in the tag together. And then it was you don't watch the G1 undercards, or you would know that they teamed up on every undercard that Bolton wasn't on the block matches.
We have Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, Evil and Don Fale, Desperado and I'm gonna butcher this one, Shuji Ishikawa.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, there we go. Yoda Suji and Gabe Kidd, Taichi and Satoshi Kojima, which Dave butchered the spelling of Kojima, and Shingo Takagi and Drilla Maloney.
Mm-hmm.
One of those teams are going to Wrestle Kingdom 20 with a title shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles.
How about that?
Did you see Ronda Rousey is apparently in active negotiations to do a boxing fight?
Ronda Rousey should fight Jake Paul.
I don't think that's who she's going to be fighting, but hey, do whatever you want. If this is something you want to try, knock yourself out, Ronda. But this was somebody who had very little stand-up game to the point where it's Holly Holm beat the fuck out of her, standing, and she got knocked the fuck out. So I imagine she's not going in there to take on whoever a top female boxer will be, but she is. I don't have high hopes for her boxing career.
Don't have high hopes for her box.
Oh, Lord. It's amazing that Marina Shafir is the only horsewoman who is still wrestling regularly.
That's a shit. I know she's in her fucking 40s, but I was a big Shayna Baszler fan.
How about Jessamine Duke?
I feel like I saw her wrestle at some point, and the fact that that's how much I remember of it should tell you something.
Oh, God. But we're only an hour and 10 minutes into the fucking show, and there's not a whole lot left to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of audio to play today.
God damn it. Hey, Thursday, the Gangsters are debuting.
Boy, are they.
So, I haven't watched the show yet, so maybe that's what I do with all my extra time. But yeah, that's going to be something to talk about.
I will say that the Gangsters on Smoky Mountain was the only thing that has made me feel joy in the last week.
There you go. There you go.
What do you think I am? A bum seeker? I was sitting in prison, weasel. I had a lot of time to think of the Bobby Heenan types of this world. Types like yourself.
Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan is a Bobby Heenan type.
He's an excellent example of the Bobby Heenan types of this world. That is one of my all-time favorite RD lines on Wrestle Crap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord. I think another one, and I forget who wrote this, it might have been Art O'Donnell, but they were doing the Rey Mysterio Seth Rollins eye for an eye match, and under the picture of Rey Mysterio's fake eye, he was like, ow, my eye, I'm not supposed to get stairs in it. I never saw that. Funny. I never saw that show. The horror show at Extreme Rules.
I did. It was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah. Coming right after the greatest wrestling match ever, or the best wrestling match ever, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Thankfully for them, that was a pretty all right match because after the shitty WrestleMania match they had, oh Lord.
Yeah.
That I think we can call it here for a day. Everyone rejoice. We're done talking about the show now for once. But yeah, join us for TNA tomorrow, Smoky Mountain on Thursday with the debut of the Gangstas. And we'll see what the world brings us from here. That'll do it for this week's show. Thank you, Trey. Thank you to everyone for listening. And we'll talk to you all again in 7 days.
Bye.